Hi, this is Zak Mir with the US Chartbreakers here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Sunday, the 23rd of November. Starting off with the S&P, and it looks as though we bounced off the floor of the rising trend channel there from April. Obviously, this market has zigzagged a bit higher, but we've only actually been below the 50-day line. The last time we were actually below the 50-day line properly was back in April, so we could actually be going into a negative trend. But at the moment, that uptrend line, the floor of the channel there, around the 6,500 mark, and while we're above that, looking for potentially a rebound at least back towards the 50-day line, 67.11. Thing missing in terms of getting back on a properly bullish tack would be the RSI back above neutral 50, so that might be 2 or 3 days away for that. From that, otherwise on the downside, the favored destination if we do break down would be the September support there around 63.60, but so far still expecting this market to revive itself. The Nasdaq is next, and here it was all about trying to stay on the right side of 24,000, which so far has been done. So we'll suggest that the floor of the channel is actually as I'm drawing at the moment, so that kind of width. And while we're above 24,000, looking for a rebound back towards the 50-day line, 24,949. We're quite a long way back below the neutral 50 level, so can't rule out a fresh leg to the downside and to September support, 23,000, but the moment looks as though even if we do break back below 24,000, the low will be between 23 and 24. A lasting one, hopefully. On to the stocks, and starting off with one where there isn't that much charting data, but that makes it all the more exciting. Potential rising trend channel here at Alps Group, top of the channel there, the red line at $2.35, and while we're above the recent support there at around the 90 cents level, let's call it 88 actually, then looking for progress back towards the 50 and 200-day lines there on that chart. You can see there's a gap to fill up to $2.20 for that situation as well. Moving along to a stock we looked at reasonably recently, Caravelle, and you can see that it's a rising trend channel base. The top of the channel there at $15. That's our target for perhaps mid-December. Well, let's call it the end of next month, actually. Best case would be up to the 200-day moving average at $20 by the end of next month. Ideally, we stay above recent broken resistance at $11. Next up is a situation which hopefully I can type out properly. And here we've got CCHH, which is CCH Holdings. Here, another case of trying to project the upside here. Top of the channel there, we're looking for that to be up to $14.40. Looking for that by the end of next month while we're above recent broken resistance, $8.20. So relatively simple setup there. Covered Datavault a lot of times in the recent past, and you can see it's a very active situation. The current situation is we bounced off a rising 50-day line off the previous initial target there around $1.40. Second target here was $2.40, and above that we're looking for a retest of the best levels of the year through $4. Hopefully we'll get there by the end of next month. Moving along to Enviri, and here you can see the shares gapped up towards the top of the channel there. The top of the channel was at $20, and I suppose that's still a potential target. Obviously, we gapped up, so presuming that ideally, even if we do pull back from current levels, $16 could be support ahead of a potential best case move up to $20. But basically, the shares have done what we wanted them to do and make progress within that rising 2025 rising trend channel. On to Nano-X, and here it's a case of a broadening triangle base. Top of the triangle there up to $5, which is our near-term target, perhaps by the end of the year. And we're looking for that, especially while we're above recent support, rather recent resistance at $4.16. Hopefully that will come in as new support. Maybe allow down for $4, as that was Thursday's resistance, but ideally there's no end-of-day close, or there are no end-of-day closes back below $4.16. Finishing off with a situation which has very little charting data, but we're taking a guess here that we're currently at $22 or just above, and looking for the top of the channel there as high as $43, perhaps as soon as the end of this year. Ideally, whatever happens, we stay above recent broken resistance at $15. If you want something tighter, then splitting Friday's range and assuming that around the $17.50 mark will be support, could be the way forward. That's it for me today. More updates on Tuesday.